Amen. Good morning and welcome to the Boulder Valley Unitarian Universalist Fellowship. Yay, we're back in multi-platform services and I get to see all of you in person and I get to kind of see you, and I know you're there in Zoom and over in the fellowship hall. So we have Zoomies, we have Roomies, and we have Hollies. I have a quick technical announcement. So unless you are actually helping with the audiovisual, if you could not connect to Zoom on your mobile devices, if you are in the building. So that would be the Roomies and the Hollies and anybody, and the floaties out there, I guess. Because doing so can cause some feedback loops and technical issues, and it does put a little bit of a drain on our not multi-million-dollar sound and audio visual system. We really wish it was. Up the pledges. So I am Lisa Moore. I am the intern minister here, and I am joined today by Service Associate Karen Griglak. And we'll have a testimonial later from Janet Meyer and Larry Sherwood. And also we have Tad and Emily Coriath and Amy Austin providing music, and our tech team, Deborah Mensch, who is a saint in Unitarian Universalism. Bill Beachley is, you can't see him, but he's out there. And we have somebody new, Boone Kowalchuk. Welcome and thank you. Because really, if it wasn't for them, we'd be hosed. They are what allow us to do all the work that we do. And of course, you. You are why we are here and why we do all the things that we do. As I say the welcome words today, I invite those of you who are on Zoom to shift into gallery mode if you haven't done so already, and scroll through the screens so you can see and experience the beauty of this congregation. Some people have their names up, or just their faces or something, but you get an idea of how many more people are out there when you just kind of start scrolling through. And some people are sitting there watching too, which is really cool. Those of you in person, look around and see who you can recognize beneath their masks. You are all welcome here today in all the beauty of languages, cultures, skin tones, shapes, sizes, hair colors that come together in your uniqueness. You are welcome here. In all the ways you express gender and experience gender, you are welcome here. In the beauty that is who you love and how you love, you are welcome here. In all the ways you make your living, in all the places you are from, you are welcome here. With all of the traditions that inform your spiritual life, you are welcome here today. No matter how long you were away, nor how soon you will return, you are welcome here. Whether you come with laughter in your heart or tears, you are welcome here. You are invited to join us with an open mind, a loving heart, and a willing body. We welcome you here today. We acknowledge that the land surrounding us is the stolen territory of the Arapaho people, and that many tribes roamed freely on this land for millennia before the arrival of white settlers. We commit ourselves to being a center for spiritual exploration and justice making, and to anti-racism and anti-oppression work within and beyond our congregation. As of Friday, March 18th in the morning, we have received pledges from 125 pledge units. Thank you, Karen. Look at how full that is. Isn't that awesome? So 125 pledge units, that could be an individual, it could be a family, but that is also 76% of our total. And that is for a total amount of $357,000 and $357,414 pledged. Look at all the little balls. And we still need the rest of you to pledge, please, so we can continue to provide the beauty of these services, the spiritual growth opportunities, connection, and justice-making opportunities. Now, more than ever, we are learning how much it matters that we join together to nourish, deepen, and connect. Your pledges are by far the largest portion of our income, and every pledge counts. If you are here today, you can pledge at the table at the foyer, just outside. I think they've got little Ask Me tags. And if those are on Zoom, you can click on the pledge link that is getting pasted in the chat right now. And for those of you who, for whatever reason, cannot pledge, that is okay. Let Lydia or the pledge staff know, and they can write away, make a little note. There's no shame, there's no guilt. Things happen, and your presence is more important than your dollar. We need the dollars, but we need your presence more. If you are new here, we are glad you found us, and hope that in this virtual community and in this live community and this combination, that you can find and experience the warmth and love of this congregation. Each Sunday is a little different here, so please come back a few times to really get to know us. And we have many opportunities during the week for social connection and spiritual growth. Those on the Zoom can check out the links in the chat to help you get connected. Those in person can stop by the welcome table out in the foyer to help you get connected. So many ways. And finally, if there are any visitors on Zoom who would like to introduce yourselves in the chat, please do. I'd like to know who is among us in Zoom. And also, if there are any visitors in the sanctuary today who'd like to introduce yourselves, stand or wave your hand or whatever, and Karen will bring the mic over so you can introduce yourself. And if you're not comfortable doing that, that's okay too. This is entirely voluntary. Anybody? Going once, going twice, sold. All on Zoom are invited to the virtual coffee hour after the service. And the roomies and hollies and floaties are welcome to stay and chat, but please be mindful about physical distancing. And we aren't quite yet offering coffee hour, the actual coffee, due to the COVID protocol. Bill, can you spotlight us again, please? Hi, Bill. And we're back. I love this. Doing church is not a performance. This is live, this is not Memorex. The young ones might want to Google that. Mary Hill from Louisville says hello. So hi and welcome, Mary in the Zoomverse. So if you have a chalice at home in the Zoom, you can light it with me and Karen here as we light our fellowship chalice. And while you're in the Zoom, you can light you can write in the chat, chalice lit in the name of your town. And we'll put the words in the chat and just kind of say it a little slowly and mindfully. We light this chalice for the warmth of love, the light of truth, and the energy of action. And now I'll sing our bowl again, inviting it to draw you deeper into the present moment and this, our beloved community.
So the bracelet that I am wearing today is silver. It has 2 arrows pointed inwards toward me. And it's a reminder that I am important, that I am a human who is worthy of wonder and all that life has to offer. And on the inside of the bracelet is a very important message for me, and I'll tell you what that is in a minute. You see, I woke up this morning sometime between 5 and 5:30, and it wasn't because of stage fright. Because once I stand up here, I am fine with a capital F, no problem. I woke up before the sun this morning because my brain likes to tell me things. It likes to talk to me. And it takes me several hours to convince myself that people might actually care about what I have to say this morning. You see, my brain does not always default to, people might be excited to see me. My initial default is often, people are trying to figure out ways to make me be quiet and go home. My brain tells me that you'd all tolerate me because our principles, and that's what good UUs do. Not that I might be an interesting person with a unique perspective who many of you actually like. These are just some of the things that my brain thinks it should tell me. Because I suffer from mild anxiety and mild depression, which I have mostly been able to handle through therapy, meditation, music, mindfulness practices up until this point. So on a Sunday morning when I'm going to stand before you, or I have an important meeting or a class that I'm leading or something, I will probably have done yoga, or I will have meditated, had some tea, had a shower to wash those thoughts that do not serve me down the drain. I put on a little makeup for me, and only me, because it reminds me of the sparkle that I know I have inside, even on the day when it might be a little harder to find. And I feel like sharing my inner sparkle on the outside. And this morning, the last thing I did on my way out the door is I put on my bracelet. Because the inside of this bracelet is a reminder for me. It is inscribed on the inside with the words, "Your anxiety is lying to you." The perfect reminder that I am me, I am worthy, I am loved, and I've got this. And here's the really nifty thing. You are you. You are all worthy. You are loved. And you've got this too.
Hello, hello. Good morning, everyone. All right, so here's some words we've been waiting to say for a couple of years now. Let's join together in singing. All right. We're going to sing number 396, I Know This Rose Will Open. It is a round, so we'll first sing it through, 396 in the gray hymnal there. We'll sing it through twice all together, and then we'll break into three parts. I will start, and if you're in this area of the room, maybe you can follow me, and then Emily will come in a couple of bars later, and some of you can sing with Emily, and then some of you can sing with Amy. Or if you just sing at your own, rate, that's okay too. It'll all come out in the wash. I lost the pitch.
Oh.
One, two, sing. I know this rose will open. I know my fear will burn away. I know my soul will unfurl its wings. I know this rose will open. I know this rose will open. I know my fear will burn away. I know my soul will unfurl its wings. I know this rose will open. I know this rose will open. I know this rose will burn away. I know my soul will unfurl its wings. I know this rose will unfurl its wings. I know this rose will open. I know this fear will burn away. I know my soul will unfurl its wings. I know this soul will unfurl its wings. I know this road will open. All right, it's a good start.
Before, we gotta get to take. Technology is one of those other things I don't dance really well with sometimes, and and neither do you. Thanks. Yay! I'm not the only one. And I wanted to say earlier, until we had a slight glitch, sometimes people get a little anxious because they see us up here looking at tablets or phones or whatever, and think that we're maybe getting distracted. And honestly, for me, that might be true, except that it's not today. But we do use a lot of the technology. I've got the phone set up on the Zoom chat, so I can kind of see what's going on there. And then I am reading the script through on my iPad. So I want to let people know about that, just so they can have maybe a little more calmness about that and understand what's going on as our technology changes and we get better and better at doing multi-platform services. So good morning, everyone. How is it today with your spirit? Yay, cool. Thanks, Sylvine. How is your mental health today? Thumbs up? We got thumbs up? Thumbs kind of, yeah. Thanks for sharing. Thanks for being vulnerable that way. In 2020, more than 12 million people experienced serious thoughts of suicide. The research is that 1 in 5 US adults experience mental illnesses each year. So if you think of this congregation and how many people are here, are members, and 20% of them are probably working with some type of mental illness in their life, dancing with that. One in 20 US adults experience serious mental illness each year. 50% of all lifetime mental illness begins by the age of 14, and 75% by the age of 24. Suicide is the second leading cause of death among people aged 10 to 34. And I was looking at those numbers and wondering how the pandemic affected all of that. So, let me tell you, I'm going to shift. My mind is not linear. When I was applying to seminary, one of the questions I had to write a short essay about was about listening to my call. And the call is that still, small voice that's very persistent, and I feel it here, that tells me that this is where I am, this is where I need to go, and this is what I need to be doing. And a large part of being able to finally know and hear and listen to that call was stitched together with my journey towards mental health. One of the sentences that I wrote in that essay was that I didn't realize how sick I had been until I had done a lot of work on improving my own mental health. See, growing up, I didn't know terms like attention deficit disorder. I was just called Spacey. Woo! I didn't have any skills or coping mechanisms to help me navigate a life that seemed different from all my other classmates. I had a family history of mental illness, very brilliant people, who, one being one of my great aunts, who taught college and then ended up homeless because she wasn't taking her meds. So I did this long process. I did some work with dialectical behavior therapy, which is, for me, it was a year-long process of working with, in a group of getting and learning some skills and coping. I got my diagnoses. I learned all sorts of things. And I will say, finally getting an official diagnosis took off such a load. That in itself took the anxiety that I suffer with occasionally, some more, some less, way down because I could name it. I wasn't just weird anymore. Well, still a little weird. In 2014, my husband at the time left me and I cracked wide open. Everything spilled. And I will say, Unitarian Universalism saved my life. The loving community that I was a part of held me, took care of me, and accompanied me as I worked on that journey toward mental wholeness. And I can honestly say I would probably not be here if it wasn't for them and my dog, because they can't be there all the time. So I remember this one time, my partner Patrick and I were talking about something, and I don't remember what. But I think both of us were experiencing this level of frustration about something. And I asked him, I go, do you ever think about just killing yourself? And he said, what? No. Like, of course not. And he was shocked. And then I told him for the first time that I always think of taking my own life. It's always in my mind. Last night when I was kind of going through, because I never quite finished one of these things, these sermon things, and I'm like, oh, I can tweak here and I can do this. It drives y'all crazy. I'm sorry, Deborah. I'm sorry, Karen. But I asked him if he remembered that conversation, if he remembered what it was about, and he didn't. But he did remember a little bit. He didn't remember what started it, but he did remember how shocked we both were by the response of the other person. We had been together for over 5 years by then, and this is the first time it had come up. So, yes, I have depression, I have anxiety, I have suicidal ideation, a few other things, and it's a dance, and I work with these things in my head on a regular basis. So, as Karen mentioned, that one really loud voice saying that you're not worthy and you don't belong here, and then there's that other little voice saying, yes, you do. Listen to that voice, because that's the right one. The one that tells you that you're not worthy or that you're faking it or whatever, that is a lie. Anxiety does lie to you. And working with mental illness, see, this is one of the really interesting things about this, is that you guys have these caring committees, and you have pastoral care, and you make cakes for people when they go to the hospital or all this stuff. But in a lot of Unitarian Universalist congregations, or just in general, people don't talk about it. So yeah, I have these things. I am not these things. I dance with them. Sometimes not well. But people don't bake cakes for those with mental illnesses. Or maybe sometimes they do. Sometimes they do. Yes, sometimes they do. Yay! Give yourselves a, really, seriously, cheer. That's awesome. That's a lot. So all of the work that I did, and some serendipity, a lot of serendipity, brought me here to this fellowship. And as someone who lives with the marginalized identity of having a mental illness, it was heartwarming to witness how involved this congregation is within the larger community and within your community. You have the Boulder Valley Community Action Network, Kathy Partridge and Chris, and there's all these people, Mark Eisenwein, all these people that do so much to help destigmatize mental illness. And I'm telling you about mine, not that you worry about me because I'm in good shape. I'm telling you about mine because I have privilege of being here, not down there. So that helps take some of the stigma off. I have no problems telling somebody, oh yeah, they just upped my meds. Yes. I have seen, last year you supported the Live Project, which was a screening of a movie about a young woman who took her life by suicide. And then you had the discussion afterwards. You support legislation in the area to help enhance the well-being of the community's mental health. Within these walls, you have neighborhood connectors. You have the caring committee, the pastoral care team. There are facilitated affinity groups for congregants who care for spouses with dementia. And there's another one for widowers. And I'm sure there are more that I am not quite aware of. And as part of my learning in seminary, I had to come up with a leadership initiative. And one of the things that I noticed wasn't that there wasn't really a specific covenant group or affinity group for those who identify with having mental illness. And sometimes it's hard to tell somebody you don't know that you might be struggling. But if you know that other person might be having some of those similar struggles, it's a little bit easier to say that because you have the language. So I started, in December, I started doing atypically typical at times covenant groups for people who self-identified as having some type of mental issue. I wasn't going to ask. As time wore on, we shared. It has been a blessing to me, and I hope it has been a blessing to those participating. Part of that is taking the idea of our first and seventh principles and flipping them around a little bit. As an individual, I focus on the interconnected web of the universe of which I am a part, building up the collective, and that's what you do. That's what our faith calls us to do, right? Yes, maybe? Shh, don't say anything. You can talk, really. You can I disrupt you guys, you can disrupt me. I'm not gonna be sad about that. As the collective, we focus on an individual and their inherent worth and dignity. So it's not me focusing on my inherent worth and dignity, it's me focusing on everybody else's, and the other way around. And that's what makes our faith awesome. Asking somebody about their mental health can be a little uncomfortable for some people, yeah? So we're going to practice it. We're going to do some sacred, deep listening. So those of you on Zoom, you're going to be invited to join a breakout room. And if you are a roomie or a Holly or somewhere here within the sanctuary, I'm going to ask you to find somebody you don't know really well, and hopefully they're close to you, so you don't have to go all the way out. If you're a little concerned about being too close, you can actually, because we've got speakers out in the other room, you can go out into the hall, into the, welcome area. We've got some space over here. You can come up here too. There's plenty of room. And I'm going to invite you to ask the person, how is your mental health today? And then just listen. Because none of us can really fix it. I mean, some of us might be able to, but we can accompany somebody on their journey. We don't want to minimize it. I went through a lot of work to find out what was going on with my brain. And there's a big difference between that and sometimes just feeling sad. Don't try to change the subject. Just listen. Listen with that open heart that you have, that I've watched so many of you use. In a little bit, we will switch. I'll say something for the people out here, and you can hear and say, okay, now switch. For the people on Zoom, we're going to be doing 6 minutes, so you'll just kind of need to pay attention to make sure that everybody has a chance to switch, because you'll just go right into your breakout rooms, and the people here are going to have to kind of might have to move around just a little bit. So yeah, for Zoomies, once you are sent to breakout rooms, you will have 6 minutes before you're automatically brought back. So just be aware of your time and manage that appropriately so everybody can get a turn. And for those of you here, we're going to start the timer. Go find somebody. mingle. So people at the sanctuary, if you want to start making your way back to your seats, thank each other for sharing. Come on back, have a seat. And apparently now all the Zoomies are back as well. So how did that feel? Did it feel good? It felt good, yay. At first it was anxiety producing. Yeah, I am. Tell me about it. I gotta tell you what? So some of us might have felt a little uncomfortable, some of us felt right at ease, and some of us, probably most of us, felt something in some range all over. You started crying? Oh, bless your heart. Oh. Thank you. If for any reason you ever need resources, there are always resources available. We can find them for you, and we've got breakout room thingies up there. Is that? Being uncomfortable and asking the question, that's an exercise. You can do that, you can repeat that, and get used to it. For people who walk and live with different varying mental illnesses, it's a discomfort. New knee. And that's your live entertainment portion for the day. Does anybody remember Romper Room? I see Bill and I see... So, coming back, work on being uncomfortable. Work on getting comfortable in your uncomfortableness. The atypically typical, at times, covenant group that I facilitate, actually there's 2 of them, I ask them, what would you like the congregation to know? If you had a couple words of something, what would you like everybody to know? And so I'm going to share with you some of those answers. I'm going to take this off so I'm not looking at them. Hey. By the time I'm done here in June, I might have this thing figured out. Someone with social anxiety wants you to know that how important having multi-platform services are. To be able to be, in a way, present with people in large groups. Somebody else says that everybody needs therapy. Even if you don't have a mental illness. I mean, we see a dentist for our teeth. We see doctors, massage therapists for our muscles, joints, all the different things, and we do a lot of this for preventative maintenance. Why wouldn't we see a mental health care practitioner to help ensure that our brain is functioning within normal parameters? If something comes up, they are going to be more likely to find it and know how to deal with it than probably our friends and family members who are not qualified and then might feel a little disconcerted themselves. Someone wanted to let people know that some people are medication resistant. So it is really a struggle if you keep trying to do something and then you can't even get some medicine to help, and then that's even ups it a little bit more. There is no panacea. Some things help a lot, like yoga and meditation, but there's never usually something that just fixes it all. Wouldn't that be nice? Oh, I would love that. Yoga, meditation, exercise, they can help a lot. There's the realization that sometimes our illnesses and how we are when it's at its worst can be a drain on our loved ones and cost us relationships. There is sadness around that. We have mental differences and we have mental illnesses. We are not our mental illnesses, nor are we our mental differences. I have ADD. I am easily distracted by puppies and bright, shiny objects. I am not ADD. And even when we are at our best, there is always the probability that our illness will take hold of our mind again. We realize that this can be scary for our loved ones, and believe me, it is scary for us too. Somebody else wants you to know that their mental illness causes them to isolate themselves. When somebody else reaches out to them, it makes a huge difference. Even small gestures mean everything. They love this community. They love being a part of this community. And here's the funny thing is you don't know who that person is. So start reaching out to people you don't know. Make those connections and bonds. Say, hey, I was at that weird intern's spacey, flighty, whatever sermon, and she said, call somebody from the congregation that I don't know and check in on them. Ooh, what would that look like? I double dog dare you. I was lucky. I have lived with suicidal ideation almost all my life, probably since I was about 10 years old. And when I finally realized what was going on with me, which wasn't until my mid-40s, and I started getting the help, I was able to take something that was this vicious, terrible ogre of a voice inside me and minimize it to a dull roar, and then to something that if I hear it, I can step away and say, what'd you just say? And why did you say that? And check in with myself. Because it's telling me that there's something else that I need to pay attention to. Not that I'm less than, just something that I need to pay attention to and take care of. Sometimes it's just a good nap. In seminary, there is a class on preaching. Yes, there really is a class on preaching. And the professor, who happens to be now the minister at UUCB, said, preach from your scars, not from your wounds. Which means you don't want to preach on something that's really fresh and like if I'm feeling very vulnerable about something. I don't want to do that to you because I'm still coping with it myself. But this, working on my journey to mental health and wellness, this is not only a scar, it's a very well-healed scar. It's a scar I wanted to share with you, and I really do sing from this scar. If anybody were to need help, please reach out. There are resources. I love you. You are all sacred. You are all worthy. And you are all a blessing in my life. Amen, and blessed be.
Each week, we remind ourselves of the abundance of our lives and this community by giving half of our plate away to those organizations that share our values. This week, the half plate is for the Interfaith Network on Mental Illness, INME, nominated by Mark Essenwein, and I'm sorry if I mispronounced that. Based in Boulder, INME is an organization that envisions a future in which people can freely seek the mental health services that they need without fear of embarrassment or stigma. INME does this by increasing awareness and understanding of the mental health and faith communities, attesting to spirituality being an important influence and power on the path towards mental health wholeness. Recently, INME has offered interfaith panels online about the role of faith communities on suicide prevention. Supporting this organization affirms our fellowship's commitment to building a beloved community that honors each person's unique mental health journey as one way of promoting our first principle in our community. Please give generously as you so often do. And as our musical reflection begins, we invite you to write into the chat your answer to this question. How is your mental health today? For the work of this fellowship, bringing love, reason, compassion, and justice to this world, and to the Interfaith Network on Mental Health Illness, we dedicate our offerings.
My name's Larry Sherwood, and I'm here with my wife, Janet Meyer, and our daughter, Morgan, is also here home from college at spring break. The annual pledge drive is a time to reflect on this fellowship and what it means to our family. We joined this congregation in 2010, and all three of us found something special here. Our daughter Morgan made many friends of many ages, thrived in community, deepened her understanding of the world, and grew into a leader in her own right. I found an oasis of calm apart from my stressful work. Janet connected with the community in creative and meaningful ways. Over the years, we've been involved in more ways than we have time to list this morning. Everything from serving coffee to serving on the board. And our commitment has only deepened. We all feel proud to be part of a vibrant congregation leaning into our vision, bringing love and reason to life, and creating a just and compassionate world. To actualize this vision and to be a resource to the larger community, we embarked on an ambitious campaign to expand our building. This generous congregation raised an impressive amount of money to make room for our future. We anticipated the excitement of moving into our new building would lead to a bump in membership and giving.
No one anticipated that a global pandemic would delay our move back by 2 more years, that racial injustice would challenge us to re-examine so much, that democracy would feel so fragile, and that the climate crisis would be practically lapping at our doorstep. But this is where we find ourselves today. We have been changed by the last few years, and so has the world around us. We did a great job of staying connected. New members somehow found their way to us through this time, while predictably, some others have drifted away. Even though we are weary and a bit tattered, the bottom line is that it falls to those of us who are here now, who remain, to ensure that the fellowship is as strong as possible as we head into this next phase of congregational life. It is clear that what our fellowship has to offer is needed now more than ever. Just like those who originally founded our fellowship and then later bought a building and moved out here to Lafayette, we must dig deep and build a bridge to the future because the stakes are high and the potential is so great. So it is in this context that our family has decided to increase our pledge and to recommit to the vision we share and to ensure that this congregation is here for future generations. We invite you to join us in supporting the vision with your own generous pledge.
Better each time. I now invite us into our time of community connection, or after that little sharing exercise, maybe a little bit more community connection. It's sacred, this time of sharing. So if you are on Zoom and you'd like to share a joy or concern, please type it into the chat window, sending it to everyone, and let us know what is briefly on your heart today. And I will read out loud what you share, and Karen will add a stone to the sacred waters on your behalf. If you are in the sanctuary today, you can come up front, share your joy or concern using the microphone that Karen has. Got a microphone? Okay. And add a stone to the waters. Or you can just add a stone in silence. And if you are out in the fellowship hall and have something to share, you may come into the sanctuary and share using the microphone up here. If you need assistance, please see a greeter. Wherever you are, please tell us your name and where you live when you share. Beloveds, there is always joy. There's always sorrow. It's what mixes and mingles to make us human. It's the fertile soil that nourishes the relationships, both good and bad. It's like a bee. It makes great honey, but it can sting and hurt. And so worth it. May the loss and struggles that we experience individually be lightened when we carry it together in this community. May the joys and laughter that we share in this community strengthen our bonds so that when things do get tough, we are here and together and stronger, knowing that we can get through it together. Through death, through birth, through marriages, diagnoses, Zoom calls. These are our lived experiences. May we always acknowledge the beauty and joy and sacredness of them all. Amen, and blessed be.
Every day is so wonderful, then suddenly it's hard to breathe. Now and then I get insecure from all the pain. I'm so ashamed. I am beautiful. Yes, words can't bring me down, oh no. So don't you bring me down today. To all your friends, you're delirious, so consumed in all your doom, trying hard to fill the emptiness. The piece is gone, left the puzzle undone. Is that the way it is? You are beautiful, no matter what they say. Words can't bring you down, oh no, 'cause you are beautiful in every single way. Words can't bring you down, oh no, so don't you bring me down today. No matter what we do, no matter what we say, with a song inside the tune, full of beautiful mistakes. And everywhere we go, the sun will always shine. And tomorrow we might wake up on the other side. We are beautiful, no matter what they say. Yes, words can't bring us down. Oh no. So don't you bring me down today. Don't you bring me down today.
I have one really short announcement. And of course, then I moved my thing, so I can't find it again. In April, on the, let's see, oh, where'd it go? Too many screens. There is. Saturday, April 23rd, from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m., there is a Colorado UU's United for Racial Justice workshop that is happening here, sort of via Zoom. It will be facilitated by Victoria Gray and Reverend Jen Simon. It is on nonviolent communication and conversations about race. So you can find information on Connections Weekly or on the website, and I invite you and strongly encourage you to show up for that. And I think that is about the only announcement that I have, so we will extinguish our chalice. We extinguish this chalice, but not the warmth of love, the light of truth, or the energy of action. These we carry in our hearts until we meet again. And let me grab the benediction because I forgot to pick that up. This is a book by Reverend Barbara F. Myers called Held, Showing Up for Each Other's Mental Health, and it is wonderful, and I encourage any and all of you to read it. And from here, the benediction is from Rebecca Ann Parker. Even when our hearts are broken by our own failure or the failure of others cutting into our lives, even when we have done all we can and life is still broken, there is a universal love that has never broken faith with us and never will. Thank you. Now a little bit more music, if you have to leave.
Last hymn is number 108 in the gray hymnal. My life flows on in endless song. You're invited to sing. You are also invited to rise in body or spirit.
My life flows on in endless song above earth's lamentation. I hear the real but far off hymn that hails a new creation. Through all the tumult and the strife, I hear the music ring. It sounds an echo in my soul. How can I keep from singing? What though the